Hi, welcome to the Peripatetic Anthropologist. My name is Bruce, and I am an anthropologist. And we're back with the 30 years, 30 questions. And today's question is number 8. And this is a question, what is it that you love about Bali? And so today, I'm going to talk about 5 things that I love about Bali. And you notice I'm in a closed area. I'm on the balcony. I have the storm curtains down because the rainy season is here, it seems, and we've had really intense rains and wind for the last few days. I tried to video upstairs, but it's too windy, and this time of the year, when we get these kind of conditions, the sun seems intensely bright, brighter than usual. So, 5 questions, 5 answers to one question. The question is, what do you love about Bali? I have 5 answers. And the first one is the value of harmony, avoidance of conflicts. So, the value of harmony is not just found here in Bali, it's found throughout Indonesia. And people go out of their way to create harmonious relations. They want to avoid conflict, often at all costs. Language can be very indirect. Sometimes you ask a question, you get an indirect answer. A little vague, so you can interpret it in a number of different ways. But this value, this idea about harmony is something that I love here. People are accepting of other people, of different cultural beliefs, different religious beliefs, and I'll talk more about this when I get down to multiculturalism. But in day-to-day life. So you avoid criticizing people, you avoid bringing up topics that could create conflict, a sense of embarrassment, making somebody malu, which is kind of the Indonesian version of face, which a lot of Westerners are familiar with, mostly through learning about Japanese culture and Korean culture. So there's this desire to have harmonious relationships, and I love that. I go out of my way to avoid conflict. Now, it doesn't happen all the time. I do have a temper, and Indonesians have tempers as well. The popular Bali's a paradise, everybody loves everybody else. Okay, that's the cultural idea, and I love that. That's one of the reasons why I love Bali. But it doesn't always work that way. People get angry. They're human beings. And so, yeah, conflict happens. But people work to avoid it. And that's what I love. And I've adopted that cultural value over the years. It's one of the reasons why I feel comfortable living here, why I feel more comfortable with Indonesians than I often do with Westerners, because I like smooth conversations. I like avoiding unnecessarily aggressive, abrupt conversations. It doesn't mean that there's no such thing as truth, but it means that truth, as we see it, is not given the highest position on the the scale of values. First is being harmonious, and so that's what I really love that about the island, and it's a behavioral trait that I've changed, a personality trait that I've changed over the years, and I think for the better. Although, hey, I'm still from Chicago, and I still get irritated about things, and that comes out. But I'm working. Number 2, the natural beauty. Sometimes I forget, living in a city, I forget just how gorgeous this island is. Of course, I have the sea in front of me, and I get to do things like watch sailboat races right from here, from my house. But the mountains, the sea, the rice fields, the gorgeous vistas, the ravines, the rivers, white sandy beaches, black sandy beaches. This is a gorgeous island if you get away from some of the concrete, some of the urban areas. And the urban areas have their own beauty. That I'm an urban guy. I've lived in the cities most of my life, but I love getting out and seeing volcanoes. There's a great place to stop on the way here from on the way to Denpasar from here. There's a great place to stop, and you get this incredible view. Unfortunately, somebody put up a little kind of restaurant, snack bar or something, and they've put a chain along the place where I used to stop and just kind of sit and get off the bike for a while, sit down in the grass and look out over Bali, look out over the south of Bali. But there's still some places you can find that are there. So the natural beauty of the island is something that it just overwhelms me, and I have to get out sometimes to remember that it's there, that it's here. Okay, let's get to number 3, the sense of time. Now, there's a really different sense of time here. One, if you take a look at a lot of studies that have been done on the sense of time, Westerners tend to be future-oriented, thinking about how they're going to prepare for the future, what's going to happen in the future. A lot of times they miss the present. Like the now, when was the now? The now was before, later. Indonesians enjoy the moment. They take time to talk to people, to have social interactions. Take, for example, going to the market. Hey, in the market, people are there to make money, but you can have a chat, as I often do, with ladies in the market. Talk about our kids, talk about the weather, we talk about ceremonies that are coming up. Just friendly chit-chat, no rush, no hurry. They'll make a sale eventually. It doesn't have to be done in the next 10 seconds. And there's this concept here that foreigners learn about rather quickly, jam karet, which translates literally to rubber time. And rubber time is you make an appointment at 1 o'clock and people may show up at 1:15, 1:30. Sometimes there's no explanation. Sometimes it's, well, the traffic, or somebody came to my house to visit, and I couldn't leave while they were there, so, I dealt with the immediate situation, and the situation that was about to come, I had to wait. That's very common. It can be difficult to adapt to, especially if you're working and you need to get things done in a certain amount of time. Sometimes there's this jump correct can cause problems, but I really like it. And it's like with some of the time words, beso, tomorrow, or kamarin, yesterday. Somebody asked somebody, so when did you do that? Oh yeah, kamarin, yesterday. I'm trying to figure out, yesterday we were at work together. When did you have time to go to the market? Yeah, well, I went to the market on Tuesday. Tuesday was last week. Yeah, right. So this kamarin can extend, this yesterday can extend not just to yesterday, but for an American. Yesterday means if today's Wednesday, yesterday was Tuesday, it was Tuesday. So it's sometime in the past. There are other words that they can use, but that's just to give you an idea. And beso, tomorrow. When do you want to do this? Well, we'll do it beso. We're not going to have time to plan all this stuff in the next 6 hours. Oh, no, I mean, like, I don't know, next week, next month. Oh, okay, I thought beso meant tomorrow. It does, tomorrow. Sometime in the future. So it's this lack of linear time. Western, we have this linear time. It's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 2020, 2021. It's different here. It's a different sense. It's not quite as cyclical as some other cultures in Asia, but very similar, especially in the time sense for Hindus and Muslims is different as well. But in general, time sense here is much slower. Things that are dealt with, as they come up. And there's less of a thought for what's going to happen next year or 5 years from now. I was talking about a 5-year plan one time to a friend of mine. He said, how can you plan for 5 years? You don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow. Right. Now, is that changing? And is it changed in certain situations? Yeah, of course. But on a day-to-day basis, there's this sense of being relaxed. So, an example, when I first retired, I was in a supermarket one day. I was waiting in line. This woman was taking a really long time in front of me. Well, 2 people in front of me. And I was getting a little stressed. Like, oh, let's go. And I noticed the people around me, nobody really cared. They were chatting, they were looking at this, they were looking at that. Everybody was relaxed, nobody was focused on when is this person going to get done, how quickly is the cashier going to finish her scan of all the items and pack them up in a bag. And I thought, yeah, what am I in a hurry about? Where do I have to go? What's more important than what I'm doing right now? It was one of the things I had to learn when I retired was relax. go with the flow. Now, that's not to say that this is always this way, because if you get out into the street with traffic, Indonesians will drive like crazy people, cut you off without a thought, zoom by at super high speeds, much faster than conditions call for. It's like everybody has a meeting with the president in 5 minutes. But you get used to that too. But life in general moves more slowly here, and that's one of the things I love about Indonesia. Okay, that's number 3. Okay, and now we're to number 4. Multiculturalism. Bali is a land of multiculturalism. Multiculturalism is a buzzword these days, demonized by the right wing sometimes, over-celebrated sometimes by the left wing, but it's a daily fact of life here. We have right behind, or right in front of me, right behind the camera, the Hindu temple. Over there, I have a mosque for Muslims. Over there, a Chinese temple, right behind the Hindu temple, just to the west of the Hindu temple. Christian churches down the street over there. People from, one of my neighbors originally comes from Yemen. Well, he doesn't, his parents did. And he's often referred to as the Arab here. And this is Kampung Bugis, originally settled by the Bugis people from Sulawesi hundreds of years ago. And so Bali is filled with Indonesians from all the different islands. Sometimes there's conflict, but people work at accepting. And in a large part, this is due to the generous nature of the Balinese people to accept people coming in from other islands. They don't always, sometimes they don't always like it, and you'll hear, oh well, if there's a social problem, it's those people from another island. But people welcome, they celebrate other cultures, they're interested in other cultures. I'm from another culture, obviously. I've been here 30 years, married, have a house, worked here, taught, speak Indonesian. I'm never going to be a local person, no matter how long I'm here, no matter what I do. I'm always going to be an American. And that's okay. People accept that. And they ask questions about my culture. Do you think it's okay to do that? Does this conflict with your culture? No. You get flexible. And like I said before, I've changed. My personality has changed some in adapting to local cultural traditions. And take a look at my granddaughter's school, Zoe's school. She goes to the private school here, not the public school. And her aunt, one of her aunts, and her uncle went to the same school. And you have Hindu kids, Christian kids, Buddhist kids, Muslim kids, all together, all learning the same curriculum, all getting along, all learning about each other's cultures. It's great. I love it. I learned so much. I've learned so much in 30 years about Balinese culture, about cultures of different islands, Madura, Sulawesi, Papua, the Moluccas. And from here, from meeting people from here, of course from reading books, but it's a sense that other cultures are welcome, that this is not a monolithic society. It's one of the things that I really, really love about Bali. And that is number 4. And so, let's go to number 5, the last one, which is weather. And I'm talking about weather, how much I love weather. You can see weather isn't always great, but it's necessary. We got rain. Okay, so let's talk about the weather. And finally, number 5, climate. I've talked about the climate before, and the 30 years, 30 questions. The climate. Okay, yesterday it was pouring. This is January, 3rd, I think. Yesterday it was pouring, absolutely pouring, and cold. I was uncomfortable. It was so cold. 24 degrees Celsius. And yeah, I've gotten used to these days. Today it's about 29, I think. It was 30 a little before. There's a breeze up here, and one of the reasons I like living where I live is because the climate here tends to be drier. But overall in Bali, it's warm, it's sunny. It's the north coast. There are these beautiful breezes that come in. I can take my motorcycle out anytime I want and zoom around the island like this. I can go swimming basically any day of the year that I want. It rains. Usually when it rains for a few hours and it stops. It rains again a little later. Sometimes during the heavy parts of the rainy season, it can get a little depressing. I can get a little cabin feverish. But the climate is one of the things that I really, really love about living here. And so those are my 5 reasons for being in Bali. The 5 things that I love about Bali, that I remember and think, boy, I'm glad that I'm here. Well, except for that pounding in the back. I think we'll just do one for today. So that's it for today. If you like it, thumbs up. And you can subscribe, and let's see, the subscribe is over here, I think, up here, maybe. What is that? Oh, whoa, there's some cats up on the roof, having a fight. We have lots of cats here. Okay, so that's it for today. Thanks for viewing, and Happy New Year. And happy travels.